What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. We beat Wolves on penalties last night in the Carabao Cup third round, with Burnley waiting for us in the next round, tie at Turf Moor, which promises to be a difficult tie. It always is up at Turf Moor. But let's get into the player ratings, and let's start off with Pierluigi Gollini. Gollini, Sim gave him a 7, I gave him a 6, and the reason I gave him a 6 is that I just don't think he was called into action much last night. I don't think he could have done much with the goals that were scored. He showed a bit of good distribution at times last night, but apart from that, I can't really talk about him too much from yesterday.
I think, I think during the game, the Wolves didn't really get too many shots on target or anything like that. People say for the second goal he might have done better, but I think it was a tough situation, and we probably could have stood up a bit longer though against Podence, but it was a good finish. I just gave him a 7 because there was one really great pass he played to Gil during the first half, which was really great distribution.
It really was.
And obviously the penalties, I thought, look, he saved the penalty, which I thought was an impressive save. He got so close to the first one as well. And that's why I think, look, it was a good day for him, in my opinion.
You know what? When I was putting my ratings, I didn't even think about the penalties. So maybe you're right on reflection with the penalties. Yeah, you're probably right. 7.
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
I didn't even think about the penalties when I was doing the ratings.
Saved it, didn't he? Saved from Dendoncker.
Yeah, completely right there. Let's move over to Ben Davies. 7s all round from us. When Adama came on at half-time, you really feared the worst for Ben Davies. And you know what? Maybe it wasn't his challenges that were standing up to him, but I thought he did an all right job. And I thought that from a left-back point of view, I thought he did a good job yesterday. He didn't do much attacking, kind of left the attacking down that side to Brian Gil. But from what was called upon from Ben Davies last night, I think he did really well. And there was one moment right at the end of the game when he made a really important interception to save the team from coming under fire one more time. But yeah, good display from Ben Davies yesterday.
Yeah, I think defensively he played pretty well, actually. I think attacking-wise, he got in some decent positions, but his delivery was found wanting. But I think in terms of being part of the overall setup, like passing and moving and keeping possession, his passes were pretty decent, finding Gil a few times and passing it inside to Ndombele. And I think the right winger, Podence, in the first half couldn't really get any joy out of him. And Adama as well didn't really beat Davies too many times. So obviously, yeah, as you say, Davies had a lot of help, but he did well. I think it was a solid game from Ben.
Definitely. Let's move over to Christian Romero. We're giving him 7s all round. Look, I think it was a good display from Christian. I know a lot of people kind of digging into him for the goal where Tanguy Ndombele let the ball slip. And, yes, Romero definitely could have done better at that stage. But apart from that moment, if you take that moment aside, I thought he had a really good game. I thought he was aggressive from the back. He was that calming presence, which we'll get onto Sanchez in a minute, but he was definitely the more calmer of the two. His distribution looked on point last night as well. So I think that there's definitely good signs there from Christian Romero. I'm very excited to see what he can bring, and I hope he is a constant fixture in the side now.
Yeah, I feel like he's still adapting to not going man versus man all the time and having to work in that back four. He's always literally still like being super aggressive. Whenever the ball comes into the attacker who he's marking, he's always being really aggressive right up his
How many times did he get in front of one of the strikers yesterday?
Many times, countless amount of times, and it's such a crucial role, and he's very good at that, really good at that. And I think the more he plays, the more game time he gets, the more he's going to improve. And I think the early signs for me, anyway, I think they're good. They're promising, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from Romero. I do think he could have done better with the second goal, despite him being put in trouble by Ndombele. I do think he could have done better, but I think in the end of the day, he was only put in that situation because Ndombele's slack passing or slack movement, and he shouldn't have been put in that situation. So I feel for him there, and I think he had a good game overall.
Yeah. Let's move over to his partner, Davinson Sanchez. We gave him a 6s all round. With Davinson, it was a nervy game from him, in my opinion. I thought he started the game nervy, looked a bit nervy on the ball. He wasn't that calming presence at all. I thought Romero definitely helped him out on the night, albeit, though, there was one moment where Romero did make a slight mistake and Davinson Sanchez was there to clean up for him and was there to make up for it. So it wasn't an awful display from Davinson, but it wasn't the kind of display that we have seen before the international break, where he was that really commanding presence at the back. I thought on the ball, his distribution wasn't great as well, kind of back to the Davinson Sanchez from last season in terms of his distribution. But it wasn't a bad display at all. It just wasn't as good as it has been this season from him.
Yeah, I think defensively, there was that one moment he got roasted by Hoover on the right-hand side, and that could have cost us a goal easily. Thankfully, Hwang's chance was blazed over the bar, but if that one goes in, Sanchez will be getting a lot more flack. I don't think he looked as comfortable on the left-hand side of defence as he does on the right, especially from a passing point of view. I think he likes those passes from right to left, switches of play, which he wasn't. He doesn't seem as comfortable doing them from left to right on his right foot. So maybe that's something to look at. It doesn't seem that, except for Dyer, and even here, you could argue even him, doesn't look so comfortable on the left-hand side of defence. None of them do.
No one since Jan.
Yeah, literally. So that's something we're going to have to sort out, who's best suited to playing on that left centre-back role, because I think Sanchez did a good job defensively, but I just worry about him being consistently effective as part of a team in that position. We'll have to wait and see. But I think defensively, a lot of good clearances, a lot of good tackles. Still a solid game.
Yeah. All right, let's move over to Japhet Tanganga. Sim gave him a 7. I gave him a 6. And I thought he started the game really well. I mean, the first half, I thought he was brilliant. He was getting up the pitch as well and, had 2 shots on goal, albeit both blazed over the bar. But he was getting in positions to get a shot off. So that was a good mark from Tanganga. Defensively, I think he did well. The only thing for me from Tanganga's display yesterday, I felt like as the game wore on, he kind of got a bit more erratic. I think that he was starting to lose the ball a bit more. And he was giving away a lot of fouls as the game wore on as well. So I think if he would have started off, like he played the first half throughout the whole game, I would have given him a 7 or an 8. But because he was kind of drifting out the game as the game wore on, I kind of marked it down for that a bit.
Yeah, I think on the ball, I think we just have to accept what Tanganga is pretty much on the ball. I don't think he's that comfortable on it. It seems doesn't seem to be able to know exactly what the right thing to do is on the ball in terms of when to pass, when to dribble, that kind of stuff.
Still a young player, though.
He seems to run into bad situations occasionally on the ball. But I think defensively, his aggression was brilliant. I thought he really gave the Wolves wingers a really tough time. I don't think anything really came down his side
Nothing
defensively.
At all, yeah.
So I think from that point of view, he had a really solid game and he created a decent platform for the player in front of him to have a bit more attacking freedom, and that played into our favour. So I think, as you say, could have scored in the first half as well. So I think it was a good game from Japhet for me.
It was. Let's move over to Ollie Skip. 8s all round and both of our man of the match from last night. And I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Started off quite slowly. I thought he looked a bit ropey in the first 10-15 minutes. But when he grew into the game, wow, did he grow into the game. He was that commander in the middle of the park there for us. Countless amount of challenges. I mean, in the second half when Adama came on, everyone was fearing when Adama came on, seeing if he would replicate that performance he had in the earlier part of the season. But Skip and Brian Hill, to be fair, did a complete job on him. And I mean, how many challenges from Ollie Skip were going in on a full pelt? Adama Traore was unbelievable. The way he was driving through midfield, the way he won that challenge to set us up to go and score a goal, go and score Harry Kane's goal. So I thought Ollie Skip was absolutely brilliant yesterday.
Yeah, I was so happy with him because it would have been easy in that situation against very tricky customers like Ruben Neves. Dendonka's got a lot of fight, and then obviously Adama Traore to deal with as well. It could have easily been overawed, but he really stepped up when we needed him to step up. He really was putting his foot in, putting some really great challenges. His passing as well, really decent passing, long over the ball, long balls over the top to players like Kane and to Sonny as well. Some really good passes. So I'm really happy with. He seems to be growing into every game as well. And he wanted. I think he's kind of sending out a message after being left out against Chelsea, saying, "Don't leave me out again." I think in that kind of display, and it was just especially the way he dealt with Adama was absolutely second to none. Because so many times they were potentially on counter attacks or on dangerous moments, and you thought, "Oh, what are we going to do?" Adama's on the ball coming in on our defence, and there was Skip coming from nowhere to just save the day a few times. And so he's a big reason why we went through this tie.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant display. And if he carries on performances like that, it will be impossible to take him out of the team, that's for sure. Let's move over to Dele Alli. Sevens all round from us. First of all, that brilliant assist, that through ball, that cut through the Wolves defence like a knife through butter, like a hot knife through butter, was absolutely pinpoint. There was another moment when he got the ball on the right-hand side and he put in a lovely ball to Bryan Hill, which he really should have put away. But apart from those two moments, I thought that he was working hard in midfield. He was tirelessly working hard, winning the ball back countless amount of times. But, you know, with those kind of moments where he slotted that ball through to Harry Kane and the kind of ball to Bryan Hill as well, you know, you want to see Dele Alli kind of produce those moments way more often in a game of 90 minutes for me. But look, Dele Alli, he played well yesterday. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it was a positive step in the right direction for Dele for me, because he kept that endeavour and that aggression off the ball. He made I think one of the most tackles and tackle attempts in the game, and also he should have had 2 assists throughout the game as well. And I actually think he was picking up some decent positions. I want to see him do that. I want to see him have more shots on goal and stuff like that. Use his dribbling ability. We didn't see much of that in this game. But I still think the performance was definitely a step in the right direction. As you say, a great assist for Kane's goal. And hopefully he carries on making more contributions in the final third, because with the attacking talent he has, we're going to need him to do that.
Yeah, and you know, at least he's making some key passes now.
Definitely.
Is that his first 2 key passes of the season?
Or he hasn't. I don't know about. Yeah, he hasn't in the Premier League. I know that. I don't know about other competitions.
All right, let's move on to Tanguy Ndombele. Oh my days, Tanguy Ndombele, what a mix of a game he has. I mean, from the sheer sublime to the sheer ridiculous, to be honest, from Tanguy. He started the game off like an absolute house on fire. He was brilliant, untouchable. They couldn't get the ball off him. The way he took that goal, you know, it ricocheted off him, and somehow he controlled it. Like, he completely made the ball stop at his feet, complete dead. Took it in his tracks and slotted the ball lovely to put it in the back of the net. But, you know, Tanguy does what Tanguy does, and he tired throughout the game. You could clearly see that defensively anyway, and he gives the ball away for Wolves' first goal, and he loses his man from the corner for Wolves' second goal. So there's
Other way around.
Oh, the other way around, whatever. Like, as much as good work he does during the game in terms of starting off our attacks, scoring our goals and stuff like that, for me it kind of all goes out the window when he's doing these mistakes, and it leads to the other team scoring goals against us. So look, I'm really liking Tanguy Ndombele in the team, but I just think we need to figure out a way how to use him properly and not to give him too much defensive responsibility in that second half.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got to learn to be more controlled in possession. Like, in those kind of situations when you're about to be crowded out, you have to learn to move the ball quickly and make sure you're not going to get caught on the ball, because in that situation it was suicide to get caught on the ball. Absolute suicide, and it definitely cost us a goal. In terms of marking from the corner, I don't know what he's thinking, to be honest. He's throwing a boot out when it needs to challenge for an aerial challenge against Dendoncker. I look, when it's him against Dendoncker, he's always going to be second favourite, but the challenge, he didn't even make it difficult for him, which was very, very strange. But that aside, I thought he was largely excellent on the ball. I think especially in the first half, where I thought he was really strong showing, especially with the goal. I thought he did excellently to turn and finish and get into that situation. I thought he was actually working pretty hard for the team as well. Made a number of tackles, a few interceptions. His load of attempted dribbles as well. Like, they were finding it so hard to deal with him, and he has these like quick, sharp passes, and he masks them. But he looks like he's going to go out wide, and he just quickly goes inside, and he tricks you into not knowing where he's going, and he can be so unpredictable. So I think you just got to persist with him for the time being, because without him we just look so unimaginative and uncreative in that centre of the park. He's the spark that we need, and I think for him you just got to hopefully take the good with the bad, unfortunately. And I think the good he does outweighs the bad, and I know it cost us
2-2 last night.
I know, but I think for me in general, if we can offset his mistakes, he's a player that we desperately need in the team. And I feel like without him in the team, someone else will make the mistakes he's making anyway. But with him in the team, at least we get the goals. You know what I mean? So we need him. I think we need him.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating It's just so frustrating because you can see literally how good he is on the pitch in front of your eyes, how good he's doing, what, like, literally other teams literally cannot handle the guy. They just can't handle him. And then he makes mistakes like he does, and it's just so frustrating.
But in terms of that mistake, giving the ball away in that kind of area, like, he's very much more of a player who has struggles off the ball, tracking men and that kind of stuff. But that was quite unlike Tongi. He usually quite good at keeping possession.
The thing that gets me with Tongi, like, the guy is, like, he's got a big build about him. He's got like a strong physique, it looks like, and he's just so weak in the challenge. I just don't get it.
I've seen him be strong in the challenge, but sometimes he looks like he just bottles it and just is weak. And he's got to improve that. And hopefully he will, given time. That's all we got to hope for. Because if he does, then there'll be no stopping him.
Literally. Let's move over to Giovanni La Celso. We're giving him 5s all round. We'll start off with the good moments in there from Gio. I think that it was nice, quick interchange in there with Dele Alli for Harry Kane's goal. But you know what? That's the only really good moment I can think of, to be honest. I thought that he was wasteful on the ball. His passing wasn't great. And, you know, when he's starting up front in a very attacking role, you need to be contributing to the attack. And he just wasn't doing that. Albeit not his favoured position, but still you need to be doing a lot more than he did. And I much prefer him like in a kind of attacking pivot where he kind of can get the ball and drive forward from midfield. When he's a bit up there, I think he gets lost in games, and that's what happened yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I feel with him as well. I feel like as much as he did some good stuff in the first half, and I think him being in the team and his position was contributing to allowing us having a lot more control in possession and stuff like that. He doesn't give the ball away too many times. He knits the play together quite nicely. But in that position, unfortunately, we need more. We need to be getting shots off. We need to be getting crossed in the box. We need to be getting some attempted dribbles, committing players. And he failed to do that in the game throughout the game. And I don't think it was like a horrendous performance by any stretch, but I do think it's a performance that leaves you thinking that there could be a lot more to that, and I think he was probably rightly the player hauled off after an hour.
Definitely. Let's move over to Bryan Gil. 8s all round from us for Hill. An absolutely brilliant performance on his first start against Premier League opposition, and he shows that it's not a step too far for him. He really did, because the pure energy. This guy's like a Duracell bunny. He was literally non-stop running for the whole game, non-stop, and the sheer work rate he was putting into the team. I think his teammates around him were kind of feeding off his energy. Yes, he should have got a goal when Dele Alli whipped the ball into him, but the sheer effort he put in for the team, like the work he was doing on Adama Traore in the second half. I mean, Adama is literally like 6 times the size of Bryan Gil, and Gil was standing up to him. So I think this performance was definitely sign of things to come to Bryan Gil, and I cannot wait to see him in more games for us.
Yeah, really impressive by Bryan Gil.
And that penalty, by the way.
Yeah, wow, and the maturity and the composure to take that penalty how he did and just smash it into the top corner like it was no fear in the world he was ever going to miss. Really impressive from Bryan Gil. He was a tricky customer throughout the whole evening for Wolves. They struggled to really contain him on the left-hand side. A few times he was getting to the byline, wriggling free and getting crossed in the box. There was one moment where he flashed it across the face of goal, no one there to tap it home, and obviously he should have scored a tap in at the back post, but his sliding finish was saved pretty well from John Ruddy. But as you say, really, really impressive off the ball. His work rate, his ability to put tackles in and not scared to put a foot in, which was really great to see.
And Ndombele needs to take a leaf out of his book.
Honestly, and maybe Nuno might that part of his game could be what convinces Nuno he could be getting more game time in the Premier League, because I think the main thing when you got someone like Gil, obviously you're worried he's going to be anonymous, like gets lost in the game, but also you're worried that he won't track his man. You're worried that he's going to be a liability off the ball, and I don't think that you can have that worry with Gil.
Yeah. All right, let's move over to Harry Kane, last of the starting 11, 7s all round. And yeah, definitely a step in the right direction for Harry Kane, especially in the first half. I wouldn't say it's back to the Harry Kane of old, but he was definitely getting more involved. Definitely the most he's been involved so far this season. He was coming deep. He was looking for the ball. His nutmegs were literally non-stop throughout the whole of the first half. The way he took the ball into his path, that lovely touch and slotted home for his goal. Great to see him on the score sheet. I did feel like in the second half he did go a bit missing. But look, it's definitely a step in the right direction for Kane, and nobody could have accused him of looking disinterested yesterday.
Yeah, and as you say, with that touch he made for the goal, he makes a good pass by Dele into a great pass with that touch. Just knocks it in front of Willy Bolly, and no one's catching him. He looks sharp as well. The way he broke away from the Willy Bolly, the Wolves centre-half, was really impressive. So he definitely looked sharp in this game. He was definitely a lot more involved. I think as part of the team dynamic, it was working really well. He was linking up with Brian Hill as well. They seem to be striking up some sort of connection on the pitch as well.
Just like they did in Passos as well.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. Should have scored in the second half with that header, which was from point blank range, which John Ruddy makes a good save from. Apart from that, didn't have too many other chances, but I think he actually had a pretty good game overall, Harry Kane, and hopefully he can take that into the North London derby.
Yeah. Let's move over to the subs. Heung-min Son, who came on for Giovanni La Celso with about half an hour to go. And at that time in the game, it felt like we needed something else. We needed some energy to come onto the pitch. We needed some quality to come onto the pitch. And that's exactly what Heung-min Son brought when he came on. I thought he added us something extra. Maybe the game kind of was drifting away from us at that point. And I felt like he came on and gave us a bit more impetus going forward. He gave the Wolves defence quite a lot of trouble, to be honest, without any proper real quality. I felt like he was really troubling the Wolves defence and was exactly what we needed at the time, really.
Yeah, I agree. And he had a great cross for Harry Kane, who should have scored. That was a pinpoint cross from him, and that should have been a goal. But I think him on the left-hand side definitely added a bit more energy. Wasn't an unbelievable cameo, but I think Wolves definitely knew that they had something else to think about when someone was on the pitch, and he was twisting, turning, making things happen. Obviously, we didn't get a goal or an assist to get the winner, but I think he had a good cameo for the last half an hour, and hopefully looking sharp ahead of Sunday.
Yeah. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg came on an 82nd minute for Dele Alli, too late to give a rating, and also Reguilon came on the 90th minute for Japhet Tanganga as well, but too late for a rating. But let's get on to Nuno. We're giving him a 7s all round. I thought that what's really impressing me with Nuno, not really impressing me, but what I'm happy with Nuno is that when he sees something not working, he doesn't persist with it and he changes things. We were very pragmatic and defensive the first 3 or 4 games of the season, but now we're starting to see more attacking lineups with Tanguy and Ndombele back in the side. So you can see the way Nuno wants to play, and it's not a pragmatic way; it's an offensive way, in my opinion. And I think that we're seeing the beginning of it now with the last couple of games with Spurs, especially. I think Tanguy and Ndombele has definitely been the key for that. So I think that he set us up well. The starting lineup was very good. Reguilon coming on the 90th minute. A lot of managers, in terms of Gareth Southgate and Moyes, have been downmarked for bringing on a player right at the end to take a penalty, but he did that with Reguilon, and Reguilon passed with absolute flying colours. The trust he's putting in kind of Brian Hill at the moment and Ollie Skip, I think, is definitely good marks as well in my book. And I think that, what he's been accused of in the past is not really managing the game well, but I thought that he managed the game pretty well yesterday, making the right changes to match that as well.
Yeah, we just got to work on sustaining our level of performance that we seem to be getting in the first half an hour, 40 minutes, over 90 minutes, because it seems to, again, frustrating. We had a bit of a drop-off yesterday, but I think the attacking football we played was impressive, and I think Nuno will be happy with that. We just got to, he's just got to sort out those issues. But I think the lineup he got right. I think he's right to give Ndombele and Lo Celso more game time, because I think they need more game time. I mean, he was right to only start one of Kane or Son as well, in my opinion, with in review on Sunday.
He must be watching our predicted lineup.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we only got one off in our predicted lineup, but I think the lineup was pretty spot on. He's just got to sort out what to do on the right wing. I know he's putting Lo Celso there at the moment because he doesn't have many options, but obviously that's not working. So maybe he has to change that. But other than that, I think the lineups are right. We are starting to play some good football, and we just need to get the balance right, getting that level of performance in 90 minutes. And once we do that, we're going to hopefully start getting some wins again.
All right, so there you have it. That is our player ratings for the 2-2 Wolves game yesterday at Molineux, after winning on penalties as well. So let me know your ratings in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of our ratings as well. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.